What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the DigiTavern, and welcome to part 2 of opening card packs with me, your host, Jwani. So in the last video, we were able to get into some of the card packs, and we got some pretty cool pulls. In this video, we're going to go over those pulls like we usually do at the end of my other videos, but in this case, we're going to take some time and give a whole video and dedicate to some of the pulls that we pulled in the last batch. So without further ado, let's get into the cards. First up on the list here, we have Wimpod and Golisopod. Now, these two cards individually look so different, and to be completely fair, these two Pokemons are extremely different from each other, even though they are the same one. Wimpod and its art is very, I think of crayon-like colors, but it's a beautiful card nonetheless. Whereas Golisopod has this very transformer-looking feel to it. It's kind of emerging from the water, and it's prepared for its first attack. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. Now, what's crazy about this is I would say that these two cards kind of symbolically represent each other. Where Wimpod looks kind of wimpish and kind of simple, its life is that. It lives at the bottom of the seafloor, kind of cleaning trash and staying out of trouble until it evolves. However, when it does evolve and it evolves into Golisopod, it becomes this massive, hulking like arthropod-like Pokemon that is huge and fearsome and massive. It's so massive that Golisopod tends to live in sunken ships or in holes or caves deep into the seafloor. However, when Golisopod and Grapploct battle, the winner typically becomes the other's meal, and that is pretty raw. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. But these cards are beautiful nonetheless, so let's get into the next card. Up next, we have Mantine. I love this card. I've loved this card since it first came out back in Gen 2, I believe. And this is such a beautiful Pokemon. It's so sweet, it's so cute, and one of the things that I love the most about what they're doing with these cards now is they're really starting to showcase the Pokemon's natural habitat, its environment. And looking at Mantine in this card here, you can see that it's clearly deep underground, potentially in some sort of cave, deep underwater with coral and Barboach by its side, as always. It's such a beautiful card. It's a beautiful holographic, and a cool note about Mantine is if you're playing Sword and Shield, when you're riding on the water, sometimes you see Mantines kind of flying outward and kind of soaring above. Well, according to the Pokedex, if Mantine is able to catch enough speed underwater, it can actually soar in the air for up to about 300 feet and then dive right back in. And that's pretty cool. I love that concept. Up next on the cards here are some of my favorite Pokemon owl types, Hoothoot and Noctowl. And these two Pokemon are night and day. Whereas Hoothoot is this beautiful kind of happy Pokemon, and Noctowl is this sinister, dark looking creature of the night, and it's such a beautiful transition from one to the other. Hoothoot is such an awesome Pokemon, but Noctowl is just a really, really cool form of it. Now, in these cards, Hoothoot is not a holographic, however Noctowl is. And in this image you can kind of see that the holographic in this card has dotted stars throughout the entire card, really showing that Noctowl is that creature of night. And according to the Pokedex, Hoothoot has this kind of magnetic pulse inside of its body that ties it to the world. And every day at the same time, Hoothoot always will release a cry, or hoot if you will. It's so common that many trainers out in the wild use Hoothoot as a means of telling what time it is, to keep track. And Noctowl, on the other hand, is just a profound and proficient hunter, silent and quiet, and attacks with great fury. It's a beautiful card. These are two beautiful cards, some of my favorite Pokemon. Up next on the list here, we've got one of the Pokemon that I never understood. And I'll be honest and say, and I'll go back to one of my other videos where I said Pokemon like Applin was kind of the reason why I kind of dropped off. However, with these videos, we're getting into really learning about what Pokemon are now, what they are all about. And learning about Applin has made me respect Applin a little bit more. So on the list here we have Applin, Appletun, and Flapple. This is a dragon, fruit, grass type Pokemon. Bear with me here. So Applin is actually a tiny little dragon that finds its way and finds its home in an apple. It burrows deep inside for shelter, for protection, and for food. But depending on the taste or the flavor of the apple, whether it's sweet or sour, it can turn into either an Appletun or a Flapple, and really changing its overall friendliness. Whereas Appletun is a very sweet, kind of docile Pokemon, whereas Flapple is very progressive and ready to attack. And it's so unique for this to be that, for these Pokemon to be that way, because again, if I would never have referenced the Pokedex, I would have never known this, and I would continue to think that Applin was just a gimmicky Pokemon, but it has a story and it has a lore, and that is really, really awesome. Getting into one of the first legendary pools that we have had since these videos have begun, Rayquaza. Now this card is epic. Now I didn't get to play the game that Rayquaza was in, but I definitely know a little bit about Rayquaza, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for it as well. Now this card is beautiful. Now in this holographic card, there's a big shine and shimmer in the background. But one of the main things I wanted to focus on is that Rayquaza is known for being a Pokemon that lives high in the atmosphere of the world. It hides away far up into the sky, only coming down when it needs to. And this card definitely captures that, because you can see that there seems to be some sort of planet-like atmospheric bottom to Rayquaza. And it definitely seems that there is some sort of space or horizon on top of the image. It's a beautiful card, and this really captures what Rayquaza is about. And one of the great things about Rayquaza, according to the Pokedex, is very rarely does Rayquaza ever come down into the world, because it doesn't need to. However, there was one instance where Rayquaza definitely found itself into the planet. However, in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the trio's history is revealed. Thousands of years ago, during the Primal Age, the world was overflowing with natural energy. Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre fought over the energy in an endless clash. In the face of their great power, people could do nothing. But Rayquaza intervened, and its power overwhelmed the two primal Pokemon, and peace was returned to the world. Getting into this next card here, this card is one of those Mewtwo-like combination cards here. And when I say that, I mean, this is the side of Pokemon that is kind of dark, whereas humans in the world of Pokemon try to play creator, and that is rightfully so with Type Null and Silvally. Now, Type Null is not a holographic card, but Silvally is. However, I wanted to show off Type Null because you can really see the construction that went into this Pokemon. It is a mixture and combination of a myriad of types of Pokemon made into one. And it was made into one to make this massively courageous, powerful fighting Pokemon. It's so strong that the helmet that is on Type Null, this bronze-like helmet, is fitted around its head to encase its power and to nullify some of its abilities, keeping it from being its maximum potential. However, through its trainer's friendship and its trust through a trainer, it can evolve into Silvally and become this very loyal and adapting Pokemon that is amazing at battles. And this is such a beautiful Pokemon. It's a construct Pokemon, but looking at this card here, looking at Silvally and this holographic form, you can see this air slash kind of being thrown out, gathering dust and sparks as it's just bearing its attack. This is a beautiful Pokemon. It's such a strange and sad story, but it's a beautiful Pokemon when it evolves to Silvally, and to know that it evolves through friendship, through a trainer, makes this Pokemon that much more interesting. Up next here, we have one of my favorite starters of all time, Rillaboom. Now, starter evolutionary forms, that's what this is. This is Rillaboom, a beautiful, beautiful card. Now, we've seen this card plenty of times. We've gotten this card both in the Japanese version and in the English version. However, I wanted to showcase this card one more time because Rillaboom is such a beautiful card. It's a primate gorilla type Pokemon, and it's so dedicated in values and virtues that, according to the Pokedex, Rillaboom is dedicated to its people, and in this case, its trainer, and will fight to its very best to defend and to keep its trainer and its fellow Pokemon out of harm. Up next here, we have the Indeedee V card, full art holographic. Now, this is also a very beautiful card. Now, I didn't know too much about Indeedee, but according to the Pokedex, this Pokemon can sense a person's emotions and needs and desires through its ears or antennas, and it's able to do what it can to make that person happy. Indeedee is one of these Pokemons that lives to serve, whether it's a human or a Pokemon. They want the person that they're with to feel happy or to feel appreciated. And it's one of the craziest things about Pokemon that there are some Pokemon that are linked to each other or to its trainer by virtue and value and just overall appeasement. And Indeedee is one of those Pokemon. Up next on the list here is the Wobbuffet V card full art. Now, one thing you'll notice about this card is that this card is definitely textured, which is a little weird because it's very different from the other V cards. I don't know if that's intentional. I'm sure that it is, but I don't know the intention behind it. But this is a beautiful card nonetheless. You can see the psychedelic kind of print in the background of Wobbuffet. It's beautiful and crazy all at the same time, and you can see that Wobbuffet's tail is just barely poking out behind its elbow, and this is a beautiful card. Wobbuffet is such a unique Pokemon as well. It's such a docile Pokemon in the wild. It's so unique and it's so different. However, if it feels that its tail is being threatened, it will instantly and reactively turn around, change its force to a more proactive and attack-like form. So don't mess with its tail. But this is a beautiful card either way around it. A Wobbuffet V card, full art. On to the next one here, we've got Dragapult V Max. This is the crown jewel of this pull here, and this card is beautiful. Dragapult is amazing in this whole card. This whole card, there's so much going on. And when we go from Dynamax to VMAX, as trainers, we know that that VMAX form of a Pokemon is its most strongest and most powerful level. It's on the level in comparison to Mega Evolutions. It is a beautiful Pokemon. It is a beautiful card. Now, in this card in particular, we can see Dreepy in its kind of dorsal fins on its head, getting ready to be shot out. Now, according to the Pokedex, and this is kind of strange, Dreepy loves to be shot out of these catapult-like places on Dragapult. It loves being shot at high rates of speed. Now, one of the things I did not know about Dragapult, however, is that apparently Dragapult is the essence and almost soul of a lot of prehistoric water-type Pokemons embodied. And Dragapult is like its spirit, making it a dragon and ghost-type Pokemon. That's really unique, it's very different, and to be completely honest, I have a newfound respect for Dreepy and its evolutionary forms, because that is pretty cool. And that's it, guys. Those are the pulls here. Those are all the cards that we got in the previous video. I wanted to take some time in a video to show you guys these cards and to start giving you guys some more facts about them. I'm a huge fan of these pulls today. I'm a huge fan of the information that we're learning. And like I said, it's all about learning about these Pokemon, and it's all about rebuilding a collection. So let me know how you like this new format. Do you like when I break the videos up into 2 separate parts, or do you like when I can fit it into one kind of long video? Let me know in the comments. I would appreciate the feedback. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here in the DigiTavern. Peace.